Good day, welcome to the class, and we are doing a bit of pelvis stability. So teaching the pelvis to stay nice and still and some abdominals or core work. So the first thing I want to go through is actually just a little bit of a demonstration in terms of keeping your lower back safe. So you'll want a cushion or a towel or a little block or something for this. So that first of all, we're going to lie on the back without anything under the head. Okay. So often people will say to me, oh, how do I know if I need a cushion or a block under the head? So this is how you know. So I want you to lie on your back and have your legs straight. And the first thing I want you to become aware of is just how does your lower back feel? So you can see I can get quite a lot of my hand under my lower back. Okay. So how does that feel for you? Does it feel like your back feels nice? Does it feel like your back is safe? Now I want you to try and send your lower back to the floor. So when you hug your tummy in, so even with effort, I can't get my lower back to touch the floor. Okay. So just see how that feels for you. And it's all going to depend on the shape of your spine, all sorts of stuff. So now what I want you to do is take a block and pop a block under your head and see how that feels now. So there I can feel like the gap is smaller. And now I can get my lower back down to touch the floor. So this is not to say that this is for everybody, but how does your spine feel? Okay. So I tend to teach a lot of my stuff in a flat back. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, have a look at the beginner's guides for Pilates, where I talk about this. So for advanced practitioners or people that have a lot of core strength, or they might want to work in a neutral spine where there will be that gap under there. It's very hard to control, which is what Joseph Pilates was all about. So again, they're not wrong or right, they're just very different. But for me and all the clients that I work with, keeping the lower back down, it gives the brain something to focus on, and it just helps to keep people safe. And you do have to work harder in terms of physical strength to keep your back down. So this is why we choose flat back for most of our classes. So I'm going to leave that decision. You can also try focus. So when the knees are bent, you'll be able to find that you can put the lower back down. But for me personally, I also think my head feels like it's rolling back when I'm on the floor in this position. So I might actually just use a little cushion rather than a big block. Okay, so that is just that little first part before I get a load of emails telling me that our flat back's wrong or whatever. There's always a reason why I do everything. There's no times that I just do it for willy-nilly. Right, so the first thing I want you to do is just pay attention to your hip bones. So we're going to send the lower back down. So hug your tummy in. And I want you to create this sense of lightness with your feet. So what do I mean by that? Now imagine we're going to lift both the feet off the floor. That's super hard. But I want you to put your feet down on the mat. And I want you to imagine that there's a ladybird under your feet. So the more weight you put into the feet, you're going to squish the ladybird. Okay, so the feet need to be really light. Okay, so there's no weight in the feet. You will feel your abdominals kick in, but be aware that the tummy doesn't push out. So we really want to hug in. Now from here, now I'm not going to talk about breath, just breathe, and you will find that your body will naturally want you to do things on a certain breath. So I'm not going to talk about the breath. What I want you to do is just bring your left knee up towards the ceiling. Your ankle wants to be in line with the knee. So now just focus on the foot that is touching the floor. Have you put the weight back in there, or is the weight still very nice and light? So everything should feel quite heavy in the hips and the tummy area. And then allow the leg to come back down and bring the other leg up. So I like to keep my hands on my hips so that I can feel if my hips are doing this. I'm going to exaggerate it. So this is not really anything going on here. Okay, so you can see the pelvis is not stable, the spine is not stable, it's not still. So this is what we're focusing on. So lower back is down, pelvis is heavy, and the feet are nice and light. Just that feet nice and light, you should feel that gripping in of the belly. Now, as you bring your leg up, what you want to be mindful is that you don't drop the foot and then bring it back down, because then the femur bone doesn't travel very far. So have the feet a little further from the bum, and then the femur bone's got to move a bit more. So what you are focusing on, now just keep switching from left to right, try not to do this too fast, is the lower back touching the floor. So we really want to keep it imprinting, and this is why I like the lower back down, because it gives you something to focus on. So why is this? Apart from the abdominal effort that it takes, what we are trying to do is teach the body to move the levers without the pelvis, the whole body moving, okay? The other thing that this is really good for is freeing up the joint. So I want you to imagine a bowl of soup. So your pelvis is a bowl of soup. The femur bone is a spoon. Now, if your bowl moves while you're trying to stir it, it's going to be quite messy, isn't it? So the more you can keep the bowl still, the more the spoon can do the movement. Don't know if that kind of helps. So you have your hip socket. If you move your thigh bone and the pelvis is going, you're not really getting much mobility within the hip because it's the pelvis moving. So really trying to isolate. This is called dissociation. Trying to dissociate the pelvis and the thigh. So just do one more. Once your legs have come down on the ground, bring your knees to your chest or somewhere around there and relax. So these knee folds, you know, I've had clients for 10 years, they never get easier, which is very bizarre, and it is quite weird. You know, you think you should get to the point where it's just like air. But you get better at controlling the movement, controlling your spine, controlling your shoulders, all of that stuff. So this is why I love Pilates, because it really doesn't get easier. Now, we're going to change that slightly for a different movement, but I'm only going to be focusing on one of the lower half of the body today, which is the legs, obviously. And this is called leg slides. So again, I want you to imprint your lower back. So hug the tummy in, and it's going to start exactly like we've just done. So hug the tummy down, and then can you make your feet a little lighter? Okay. Right leg. Lift it 1 inch off of the floor, and you're going to slide the leg to the end of the mat, keeping it off the floor. Now, has your lower back lifted, and have you pushed, I'm going to exaggerate it, have you pushed into that leg so you can see the hips are moving? So in this position, this foot still wants to be nice and light. And I promise you this is hard work. So don't worry if it's like, oh, I need a rest already, okay? This is challenging. So lower back is down, reach that leg away. Left leg is nice and light, or whichever bent leg. Slide it back in again. Same concept as what we've just done with the knee folds. The pelvis wants to stay stable. So lift the left, send the leg away. Reach it away as you focus on pulling your lower back down. You can see my tummy's working. Is the other leg nice and light? And then bring it back in. So these are hard for me. I haven't done many classes over the last 3 months because I've had that bad foot injury. Just starting to get back to my own classes now. So, you know, it's challenging for me too. There's no judgment, you know, life happens, injuries happen. Draw the tummy in, reach the leg away. So what might happen for some people is when you straighten the leg, let me use that one and exaggerate it, it's going to lift. Okay, there's a muscle called the psoas, and I'll talk about it in the beginner's guide as well, that attaches to your lower back and the front of your hip bone. And for some people it can be tight, especially if you sit a lot. So if you find that no matter how hard you try and keep the back down, when you straighten the leg it lifts, what I want you to do is find that point. So it might mean the leg has to go a little higher where you can keep the back down. And then just see if you can lower it a little bit. Is the back staying down? You want to find that sweet spot where you do have to work, and then slide the leg back in again. So reach it away. Can you keep your lower back down? If it's coming off, even though you're trying, just lift the leg a little higher to the point where you can keep it down. It's actually physically harder as well to lift that leg because you are working the front of the legs. So let's just do 2 more on each side. So reach away, relax your shoulders, hug the tummy in, bent leg is nice and light. Find that point where your back stays down, slide the leg back in, taking a breath. Exhale, and you'll probably find, like I do these on an exhale. People get fixated with the breath. Joseph Pilates used to change his breath quite often on movements. Send it away, hug the tummy down. Keep the lower back down. So I'm feeling my hips. What I'm trying to feel is, are they moving away? Or if they're moving left and right. Slide it back in. Oh, cramping my toe. And last one. Relaxing your neck, your shoulders, your eyebrows. And then pull the leg back in again. And collapse. Bring the knees in and just give yourself a little shaky, shaky, shake. So knee folds and leg slides, those are what we've done today. We will build onto them. And then bring yourself back up again. Oh, lovely. So, like you see, I was shaking with those leg slides, and so it's been a while since I've done any Pilates or any yoga because I've been in a mood with my foot. I even took some time off from recording videos. So I'm just getting back into this as well. So I shall see you in another video soon. Take care, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.